Have you ever felt like the year is just off? That jamming 365 days into 12 arbitrarily long months is clunky, awkward, and profoundly unnatural. You're not alone. There's a persistent whisper on the internet, a growing conspiracy theory that suggests our calendar is a lie. It claims that we once had a more harmonious system, a calendar with 13 perfect months, and that this extra month was deliberately stolen from us. The reasons given are sinister. A plot by ancient rulers or the church to control populations, disrupt natural cycles, and throw humanity out of sync with the cosmos. But is this just another wild internet theory? Or is there a kernel of truth to the story of a vanished 13th month? What was this lost month called, and where did it really go? The answer is far more real and politically charged than you might imagine. It's a story not of cosmic harmony, but of chaos, corruption, and a power struggle so intense that it required history's most famous wrong to literally rewrite time itself. To understand where our lost month went, we first need to travel back to a time before the calendar on your wall even existed. Our journey begins in ancient Rome, with a calendar that would be almost unrecognizable to us today. The earliest Roman calendar, attributed to the legendary first king, Romulus, was a chaotic masterpiece of observation and guesswork. It had only 10 months, not 12. This is still visible in our modern names: September, October, November, and December. The calendar started in March, named for the god of war, which was when military campaigns would begin after the winter thaw. It ended in December, after which there was a dead period of about 61 days, an uncounted winter gap. It wasn't a month. It was just ... winter. This system was obviously flawed. As Rome grew more organized, Romulus's successor, Numa Pompilius, sought to fix it around 713 BC. He cinched the calendar to the moon's cycles and added 2 new months to the end of the year to cover the winter gap, Januarius and Februarius. This brought the total to 12 months and created a lunar year of 355 days. Here we encounter the fundamental problem that would plague humanity for centuries. A lunar year is about 355 days long. A solar year is about 365.25 days long. That 10.25 day difference doesn't seem like much, but year after year, it adds up. Within a few years, the calendar months would be completely out of sync with the seasons. Festivals for the spring harvest would be happening in the dead of winter. The calendar was broken. The Romans needed a way to periodically correct this drift and force their lunar calendar to align with the solar year and its seasons. Their solution was not a simple leap day, but something far more drastic. They added an entire extra month when needed. And here we find our vanished 13th month. This month was called Intercalaris, which simply means intercalendar. However, it was more popularly known by its nickname, Mercedonius, likely derived from the word mercus, meaning wages, as it was a time when workers' wages might have been settled. Mercedonius was not a permanent fixture. It was an emergency patch, a plug inserted into the calendar every 2 or 3 years to stop reality from drifting away. When it was needed, the month of February was cut short to 23 or 24 days, and Mercedonius was inserted immediately after it. This 27-day month would, in theory, bring the calendar back into alignment. The decision of when to insert Mercedonius was not based on precise mathematics, but was left to the discretion of Rome's high priest, the Pontifex Maximus. And whenever power is left in the hands of one person, corruption is sure to follow. This is where the real conspiracy begins. The Pontifex Maximus and the college of priests he controlled realized they held the ultimate power, the power over time itself. If they wanted to keep their political allies in office for longer, they could simply declare the insertion of Mercedonius, extending the year and their friends' terms. Conversely, If they wanted to shorten the term of a political rival, they could forget to insert the intercalary month, hastening the end of the year and kicking their enemy out of power sooner. They could also manipulate the calendar for financial gain, extending a year to collect more taxes or shortening it to avoid paying debts. This political abuse of time threw the Roman calendar into absolute chaos. By the time Julius Caesar rose to prominence in the 1st century BC, the system was a complete disaster. The calendar had been so poorly managed that it was a full 3 months out of sync with the seasons. The public was confused. Religious festivals were celebrated at the wrong times, and the state's official time was a laughingstock. As Pontifex Maximus himself, Caesar knew the system was broken beyond repair. After consolidating his power upon returning from his campaigns in Egypt, he decided to perform the most ambitious act of calendar reform in human history. Advised by the brilliant Alexandrian astronomer Sosigenes, Caesar resolved to kill Mercedonius once and for all. His plan was to abandon the messy lunar model and its clumsy intercalary month and create a new calendar based solely on the sun. In 46 BC, Caesar initiated his reform. First, he had to fix the massive drift that had accumulated. To do this, he had to make the year 46 BC the longest year in human history. He added not one, but 3 temporary intercalary months, stretching the year to a colossal 445 days. This legendary year became known as the Annus Confusionis, the Year of Confusion. Once the calendar was finally realigned with the seasons, the new Julian calendar officially began on January 1st, 45 BC. It looked remarkably similar to our own. It had 12 months with the now familiar number of days. The clumsy, corruptible Mercedonius was gone forever. In its place was a far more elegant and predictable solution to the 0.25-day solar drift, a single leap day to be added every 4 years at the end of February. So, the 13th month wasn't stolen in a conspiratorial cover-up. It was surgically removed by Julius Caesar because it was the source of a political cancer that was rotting the Roman Republic. It was replaced by a superior technology, the leap day that was mathematical, predictable, and far less prone to manipulation. The story doesn't quite end there. Caesar's math was brilliant for its time, but not perfect. A solar year is actually 365.2425 days, not exactly 365.25. This tiny difference caused the Julian calendar to drift by about 11 minutes each year. By 1582, the calendar was again out of sync with the seasons by about 10 days. This prompted another famous calendar reform, this time by Pope Gregory XIII. He decreed that the day after October 4th, 1582, would be October 15th, 1582, instantly chopping 10 days from history to reset the clock. He also refined the leap year rule to create the highly accurate Gregorian calendar that most of the world uses today. This event, too, fueled stolen time conspiracies, with people rioting in the streets shouting, "Give us back our 11 days," when Britain adopted the change. Interestingly, the idea of a 13-month calendar never truly died. In the 20th century, the International Fixed Calendar was proposed. It featured 13 months, each with exactly 28 days. The months had names like January, February, and the new 13th month, inserted between June and July, was to be called Sol. This system provided a neat, orderly 364 days. The 365th day was a year day, a holiday that belonged to no month or week. It was a beautiful, logical system, but it failed to gain traction against the immense weight of tradition. Conclusion: The legend of the vanished 13th month is a captivating one because it speaks to our feeling that something is wrong with our modern conception of time. But the truth is not one of a hidden, harmonious past stolen from us. Instead, the story of Mercedonius is a gritty political thriller. It reveals that our 12-month calendar wasn't an arbitrary choice, but a revolutionary solution to a problem of chaos and corruption. The 13th month, Mercedonius, wasn't a secret. It was a well-known, deeply flawed, and politically abused feature of the old Roman world. It didn't vanish. It was rendered obsolete. Julius Caesar didn't hide it. He killed it in broad daylight to give Rome, and ultimately the world, a more stable and democratic way of marking time. The real conspiracy wasn't that a 13th month was deleted, but that for centuries before Caesar, time itself could be bent and twisted by the powerful for their own personal gain. So the next time you look at our somewhat awkward 12-month calendar, you can see it not as a flawed system, but as a monument to a victory over the corruption of time itself.